use a live one. There's no time, I'm gonna vanish. Maybe him.
Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Spartan Little Soul here, and today I'm going to be talking about GhostWire Tokyo. Now, this game I got really addicted to. It's pretty awesome. I'm going to go into a couple aspects here because this is my little mini review. I'm gonna try to avoid any big humongous spoilers. So enjoy. And the plot. The plot is actually somewhat generic. Something has happened, and you are the only one who can save the world. Of course, there's a little more nuance to that, but that's the gist of it. You get possessed by a guy named KK who has powers. Powers that can help you save the world. So throughout your adventure, you learn, you grow, and your powers become stronger and stronger. And KK slowly learns to actually like you instead of fighting against your body. So yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like Cyberpunk. How Cyberpunk had Johnny hating you before he actually liked you. Instead of fighting against you, he started helping you. Pretty much how KK is, except KK does that a lot earlier than Johnny does. But yeah. Now we're gonna work on. Alright. Now we're gonna talk about the characters. The first one is Akito. He's the main character of the game. He's 22 years old, and he, at the beginning of the game, was barely alive. So KK entered his body to help him survive. So he survived this instead of getting his soul taken away by these creatures in his town. Well, in Tokyo. By these creatures in Tokyo. So as he went on, Akito started to learn powers. Sometimes he can be separated from KK, and you have to go through the city and fight without any of your powers, which you do have a bow and arrow, so that comes in real handy. So yeah. And as I just mentioned in Akito's, KK is the spirit that takes over Akito. Now Akito fights the spirit at first, and the spirit kind of fights him, so KK doesn't really like him, and Akito doesn't like KK. Then they realize that they should probably be working together to get this done, otherwise everybody is screwed. So they work together. He learns how to use his powers, and he teaches him how to use his powers. And then as they go on, they realize that Mari, Akito's sister, has something to do with the evil guy's plan. So of course, in order to stop the evil guy, he has to work with, in order to save his sister, he has to work with KK in order to beat the evil guy. So then their things kind of align to each other, so they start working together a lot easier. Then as the game goes on, you meet a couple random people in the story. One of them was one of KK's friends. Her name is Rinko. Rinko died also trying to stop this thing from happening, but she died, and then you also talk to her in her spiritual form. So she helps you here and there throughout your adventure. At one point, you have to get her out of one of the bad guys in order for you to actually trust her, because you can't trust her because she's kind of possessed by a bad person or whatever. So yeah. Alright, the last person really worth mentioning in the story is Hanya. Hanya is the main bad guy with a creepy mask. He kind of is the reason why all this is happening. Long ago, well, not long ago, his wife died about 4 years ago before all this started, and the whole time he's been trying to resurrect her. So he's been doing this and that, trying to resurrect her. So right now, his main plan is to combine the mortal world and the spiritual world so he can actually see his wife again. Of course, not every madman has evilness in mind when they do so, but it still causes him to kill a lot of people and sacrifice a bunch of people just to open this world between Earth and, well, between the mortal world and the spiritual world, just to see his wife. The graphics in this game are beautiful. I love the effects on how the spirits look when you're not touching them. like as part of the story. I love how each monster is distinct. Well, they're called visitors. Each visitor is distinct. Of course, there are multiple of each one for the most part, but eventually in the game you will encounter ones that you haven't even seen before, which they look pretty weird. But overall, the feel, the game, the everything, it's a nice atmosphere, and the way the buttons and react, and the controller does, like in the rain, you can literally feel the rain hitting each part, and if you like hide half your body in the rain, then only half the controller actually feels the rain. It's actually pretty cool. I actually love that aspect. It's kind of awesome. And just like when you're shooting your arrow, your bow and arrow, you feel the tension on it because it's PS5 controller, so of course they're gonna use those tensions in those buttons. But yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Smart ass.
Look, I don't know what your deal is, but you're in my body. I don't take orders from you.
The gameplay. I just gotta say that I absolutely love the gameplay. I heard that some people don't like it because of the way the buttons are and how this and that is. I adore it. I love the sneaking around mechanic, and if you sneak up on the monster, you can actually take their soul away from them or whatever. It's pretty freaking cool. And then if you get good enough with your bow, you can actually take people out like and just not even have to really fight them. And then if you got the extra thing, which is like a suit when you have a kunai, that kunai is beautiful. I love using it. I would take out whole freaking hordes of monsters before they even see me. It comes in so handy. And then you have powers. You have the wind, you have fire, you have water. Each one of those have their own types of reasons to use them, all types of ways to use them. It comes in handy. Each one has their own timing in which you use it in battle. And then you also have a shield that comes in handy. If you block exactly right, of course, called like the perfect block as usual, you can get some of your powers back in order to keep using and fighting them in battle. And then there's also the aspect of you using talismans, which there's multiple different talismans. You have one that creates a wall between you and the monsters. You have one that stuns them, so you can stun a whole group of them that are sitting in one spot and run up to each one of them and take out their soul one by one. Oh, it comes in handy. Then as you're fighting the monsters, if you keep hitting enough to explode the soul, you can grab it from afar and break it out of them that way, which actually kind of cool to actually see that one. Especially when sometimes if you do it with multiple monsters, he'll literally grab both monsters and do whatever he does with his hand and break it out of them. Oh, it's so beautiful to see. I don't know how they created that aspect of it, but it's pretty awesome. And it's kind of funny because each one of the, of course, this has stores in it. Now each store has a shopkeeper, and each shopkeeper is a cat. And it's kind of weird because since each one is a cat, they kind of just meow at you, and then you start buying stuff. But there are also other cats that take stuff that you collect and then just use it that way.
You first, then I'll fill you in.
Which really comes in handy.
Still, this town's rough.
Because then when you collect random things, they'll actually take it from you, then you'll get a significant amount of money. The thing is, they give you a lot of money so you buy food and all this stuff, but the thing is, I never really bought food. The only thing I really used my money on was arrows, because I kind of learned to be sneaky and block and all that. So of course I did get hit, and then I would heal, but they offered so much food for me to find that I didn't really have to buy any food. But it's still cool that they included that in there just in case you do need to. But I love it so much, and it's so much fun. I got really addicted to it. I had to stop, otherwise I probably would have beat the game already, because I have other stuff in my life that I have to attend to. But otherwise, this game, I give it an 8 out of 10. Of course, there are some aspects that aren't the best, but this is just an overall review, and I like it. I recommend you try it, and if you don't like it, oh well, it's not for you. But I love it, and this is Spartan Loso. Like, subscribe. I'm out.